Welcome to the Rotated Project. It's Rotated Boy, and we are back from the episode. Next another episode by Throwback Comic Book Thursday, as promised. So we're right here with the Amazing Spider-Man, The Road to Civil War 531. This comic book was monumental in the whole Civil War arc, the original Civil War arc that was game-changing for all comic book history. And the focal point of that was the Amazing Spider-Man and him being the central character in all of that. And watching the drama unfold from this point on is one of the most fantastic moments in comic book history. So I want to jump back all the way to the beginning of that, and that's the Amazing Spider-Man 531. So with that, we have the incredible Straczynski, Kirkham, and Regler on this book, and they really set this book off. This book's tone and book's flow and book colors are so good, and it really just sets the whole Civil War drama up, and really, shows us who we're dealing with as far as the protagonists and the antagonists, or the anti-heroes, the pro-heroes, whatever you want to call it. This book has a lot of character to it, and that's the thing. I really want to bring books that have been monumental in the past, books that I've really got into, that really got me in comic books, and shed some more light on them, and really, let you guys see, what I have in my coffers, and just what comic books has meant to me in the past, and not necessarily giving them more credit than what they might have gotten, or it's more shine in the light of the new comic books and stuff like that. So welcome. Before we get into this full blown, please subscribe. Also, please check out the podcast if you haven't, and also the first vlog, episode 0, and all those things together, namely the vlog, namely the podcast, all those things together. Pick and choose, do both. We'll tell you very vividly how the project's going to go from here on forward, with comic books, anime, and spirituality, and Mustangs, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So if you're into all that, music, if you're into all that, please subscribe, and I think we're going to have a good time going forward. So I'll be really happy to have you. So consider subscribing. Mr. Parker Goes to Washington, part 3 of 3. This book is super fantastic. It just really hits all the characters like sweet spots, and it starts off with a lot of action, and it starts off with Spider-Man in a new cybernetic suit that is fashioned and sponsored by Stark Industries, and we get into later why that's an issue, why that's a serious problem. But right now everything's all well and good. Spider-Man's kind of like crossing over to that not so like ratchety action that he always puts on, and he's into like this different kind of like diplomatic, or like even like a secret agent or something like that for Tony Stark. And so things a lot more like cleaner for him. The suit that he has now is bulletproof, and it can glide, and it has like what do you call it? I don't want to say tentacles, but it has external extremities that are sharp, and that are like another weapon for Spider-Man to use. And this is just a really good book, and it just really sets up the dynamic between him and Tony Stark, and the whole Civil War drama to begin with. As we said, it really puts a stake in the ground as far as, okay, this is going to be big. And this book really set it off. Fourscore and 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation, so conceived and so dedicated, can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. Long story short, I've never liked Tony Stark, and this is why. The Civil War event, this book, is the beginning of me never liking Tony Stark again. He's up to no good, and it's just really not a good look for him. He's pushing his own agenda, and he's sacrificing lives to do it, and he's saying he's a good guy, but it's not really coming off that way. And this is when I start like, man, like, Tony Stark, you kind of a hoe, dog. This is the book that started. What year was this book? This book came out in 2006. So I haven't been a fan of Iron Man since, So that's just fantastic writing, in really building up the antagonist that he is in this instance. And it really sets up Spider-Man to really explore the deep corners of who Spider-Man is, and go back to his why. So then this whole Civil War event is just it's just revisit everybody's like omega or big why they put on the mask, why are they doing what they do, why they are who they are. And the most interesting why, of course, is Spider-Man. Spider-Man, I was there. I can vouch for its authenticity. And there's something else I'd like to say to this committee. Tony Stark, he never learns. Spider-Man, and it's this. You're right. It would be simpler and more legal if guys like me registered, and if we were regulated, like the AMA or any of those other initial groups. The problem is that after registration always comes regulation. You guys are all good guys, but if you had to start deciding what sorts of things supers should get involved with, then you start eliminating the things that they should not get involved with, in your well-meaning opinion. But guys like me, we get involved in things sometimes because nobody else will, because it's not in the rule book, or it's politically inconvenient, or it's too weird, or simply because nobody else cares. The government, the big corporations, the money guys, they all have plenty of people willing to put it all on the line to defend them. But somebody on the edge, somebody in trouble, the kind of guy wiser minds would say should be left to solve his own problems, who does he go to? Lots of other super guys live in the shadows because what they do is stuff you would never ever want to know about because you'll never sleep well again. Leaving them alone to operate as they see fit gives you deniability and lets them dive in where logic would say stay away. So maybe the best solution would be a kind of Good Samaritan law, like they have for drivers, where you can protect everyone when one person dives into something to help, while everybody else just drives past. Council member, you make some interesting, compelling points, son. Spider-Man, thank you, sir. I'm just... Council member, I wasn't finished. Yes, sir. As I said, interesting points, but if you want them to go on the record, if you want them to be considered, you must remove the mask, sit in the witness chair, and swear to your testimony under oath, meaning that you will have to provide this committee with your full name and place of residence. Are you willing to do that, son? Spider-Man, I can't. Council member, and that, son, is exactly why the legislation isn't going to go away. This is a nation of laws, and those laws are meaningless without the ability to enforce them equally. You may be above the ground, son, but you're not above the law. That superpower we allow to no one in this republic. The Senate recorder is instructed to strike the statements offered here from the record. That exchange in the courtroom with Tony Stark and Spider-Man and the council members really showed me who we're dealing with as far as our characters are concerned, as far as their internal clockworks or their internal structure is concerned. Spider-Man being the brightest star, and Tony Stark being the most hoish star, right? Because Spider-Man just from the beginning of this really shows what he's about, and who has the most prudence or the most logical grasp on this out of anybody in the whole room is Spider-Man. But who's down the card more than anybody else, Spider-Man too, because nobody kind of really respects him and what he's saying, because he's not Tony Stark and he's not this council member. He's kind of like this weird thing in between. So he's kind of like he kind of gets shitted on in this conversation. So, and that's really like made me like, man, this is really gonna be good, you know, like and just to really appreciate the characters that were around, namely Spider-Man. So, in Tony Stark goes on to perpetuate his effery, and it goes on in this particular book that he's more messed up on his agenda than realized at the very initial beginning of this, and he tries to pat Peter on the back and puppy dog Peter, so you know Peter can stay on his side because he realizes what's in Peter. He realized that Peter's a better man than him, but he wants that around for his own agenda, not for Peter to stand like on his own as that individual that he just demonstrated that he was in the courtroom. And so Tony Stark is just playing a snake role, and it's not cute. It's not cute, but that really sets up the whole stage for this massive Civil War event. So there you have it, the World Cheetah Project, World Cheetah Boy, Spider-Man number 531, The Road to Civil War, the prequel, the third prequel out of the series, the prequel series, the third one to really set it up, and one of my biggest books in my comic book Hall of Fame, and we'll be jumping into my comic book Hall of Fame every Thursday going forward, doing things like this. So, hopefully you got some value out of that. Hopefully you enjoyed this. And then, yeah, it's money time. It's time to get it. And hopefully you can subscribe. Hopefully you enjoyed everything. See you next week for more of this, more of that, more everything. All right. So thank you so much, the World Cheetah Project. Thank you so much.